Well, hello, chaps and chapettes, and welcome to this live stream. Hopefully, we're live streaming. I'm sure we are. I have perfect information. No, I have lots of confidence in StreamYard that this is live streaming. Welcome to the Quantum Quiz. What is the Quantum Quiz? Quantum Quiz is a kind of Q&A kind of interview that I do with designers and publishers and people in the board gaming realms, because I like listening to weird stories. I'm not going to just drain my guests of everything that they've played and crud like that. I want to know a bit more about these interesting people, and you do get to meet a lot of interesting people. And I'm babbling. I'm doing a Trump. I am totally off script here, so I apologize. So I like interviews as much as the next person, but they are always more interesting when they are about crazy things. Hence, this is the Quantum Quiz, which takes the idea from the TV show Quantum Leap, where our guest is going to step into the shoes of Sam Beckett, the time-traveling person who flits in between different bodies and lives out different lives, but he doesn't know where these lives are and who they are, and he's got to try and figure out. Whereas here, our guest is going to, well, they've prepared everything, and it's just an interesting kind of like study about people, because if people ask me if you were to jump into a musician, who would it be? And I could turn around and say, well, I'd jump into Paul McCartney, so I can watch John Lennon write songs and learn something about that dynamic duo. Or I could say that I jump into Paul McCartney so I could sabotage the songs, so I'm not hindered when I jump back into my body with everyone saying, oh, the Beatles are the best band in the world every bloody day. But it doesn't happen every day now, but I do like the Beatles now. Now people have stopped talking about them. I like them. But I'm babbling on. And who's going to be in Sam Beckett's shoes? Well, I have with me Mr. Rob McBride from Cider Gaming. Hello, Rob.
Hey, Barry, how are you?
Very well. Long time no see.
Yes, it was, I think it was at BGG Con, I think the last time we were there together.
Yes, it was. And
in Dallas.
Yes, and we had a whale of a time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. When Berkey wasn't there, we weren't working. We were.
I had my booth right next to you guys. I saw you working the whole time. I gotcha.
Yeah. And I was actually working for you as well, because you were like, you were out to lunch sign on your chest every now and again.
A big chest too. Big sign. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So Rob, yeah, I met him at BGG Con last year. As he said, we were next to each other, and he was the generous person that would chauffeur us around every night to restaurants. He didn't pay, which is good. So there was a bonus to that. But kind of latched on to Rob.
No worries, Al. As soon as we get into me being Sam, you get to be Al, and we'll find Ziggy off in the corner somewhere.
We will do. And you can be my long lost pal. So, so before we talk about Rob's current game on Kickstarter at the moment called OVERBATTLE, we're going to start by, finding out a bit more about Rob. And I always start off with this music question because I wonder why.
Great.
Who would Rob jump into in the music industry, and why would they jump into them?
Is this where I'm supposed to hum my song?
This is where you hum your song.
Oh my gosh. So let's see. It starts off with dun 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 dun, and then
Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi, right. Living on a prayer. Aren't we all living on a prayer right now?
We are living on a prayer, indeed. At the beginning, it was like, I was thinking Michael Jackson.
Oh, okay, sure. I see that. I can see that.
And Berkey's just written in the comments that he heard that.
Hey, Kevin. Hey, Berkey.
So Bon Jovi. Okay. Explain more.
Well, John, as an independent game designer, John Bon Jovi wrote those songs from his basement at home, and did all of that. Slippery When Wet was written all by themselves, with nobody that even knew who they were. And so he started from nothing, and I sort of feel that I sort of live in those shoes. And then today, I think he's got restaurant, or had a restaurant where you don't have to pay. You could go in if you needed to get a bite to eat, and you pay whatever you want to pay. There's no pricing for anything. If you can't afford it, you come in and you eat for nothing. And that kind of giving back to the world, and the greatness that they've done, I think that's cool. And I like Bon Jovi, and I'm a kid from the '80s, man. Come on, really? I'm 52, so John Bon Jovi is a good dude.
Yeah. He got a lot of slack in his day for being, a hair rock band.
I was gonna say I need some of that hair.
But he did a lot of good catchy songs, which I've got a couple of greatest hits of his.
There you go.
Hanging around. No, who doesn't? I mean, and every now and again that guitar will come down, and I'll start playing Wanted Dead or Alive, detune the E string down to a D, and it's dong.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier when we were off camera, not live, I tried to pull down my guitar last night. First time in 5 years. And the fingers don't work, so it didn't work well. But I was going to actually play a couple licks, but that didn't happen. So instead you got to hear me unable to hum.
Okay, so that's question number 1 out of the way. Question number 2 is now a bit more fun, and will lead us into something else. You're going to jump into an actor or a director or a writer from the realms of TV and cinema. And you are going to start and producing something that they were involved in, and later on release. Oh, I've read this wrong. Oh, I can't even read my writing. You're going to be the star or produce something that they were involved with and later released in an imaginary board game. Oh, God.
I know the script.
You know the script. So basically, yes, he's going to tell us about an actor or a director or a producer who's produced something for TV or cinema, which he would like to see turned into a board game, but also have reasons for why he likes that person. And we're doing this.
And I'm going to pitch to you some questions. It's like 5 things, right?
Yeah, 5 one-word clues.
Yeah, I actually wrote down. I wrote down 7. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I wrote down 8. So we can go all the way to 8 if you need to. It can get easier, depending on which 8 I give you.
Okay, no
worries. Is that fair?
And if you're watching live, try and guess along and write in the comments what you think it might be.
Awesome. Okay. And this one is pretty cool because there's a lot of there's extreme corollary to me and my game in who I selected. Okay. And I think you'll be shocked. Actually. All right, tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right, you ready? The first word, spaghetti.
I was not spaghetti. I was not expecting that.
Spaghetti. You were not.
Okay, spaghetti. Okay, so probably an Italian. I'm gonna go for Robert De Niro.
No. Good guess.
Okay.
Good guess. Very good guess. You ready?
Yeah.
Horse.
A spaghetti western.
Aha! Look at that. I'm pitching underhand, aren't I?
You are. You're boring me. Spaghetti western. John Wayne.
No, but that's close too.
Okay.
So west.
Okay. So Wild West. Spaghetti West. Oh, John Wayne. Clint Eastwood.
Clint is one of my words, but no.
Oh.
No.
Okay. So Clint was a word as well.
It was. Yes. We'll write that off the list, but yes, that leaves us with 3 of my 7. Mexico.
Mexico. Okay. I'm thinking good, bad, and ugly.
Oh man, you're really close.
But Sergio Leone.
That is exactly right. Sergio Leone.
That's
that is
the
correct.
one. So I always
That is correct. My other 2 words were fist
and
trilogy.
Yeah.
And it's Fistful of Dollars.
Yeah, Fistful of Dollars.
Yep. Sergio Leone, the director, and he was quite the visionary, actually. The spaghetti westerns reframed, reshaped how we actually did cinema in the 60s. We had gotten a little stale with the U.S. westerns, the 40s and 50s, and he wanted to jazz that up with more excitement, more gunplay, more smoke, and he took a lot of that looks, John Ford's cinematography and the wide thing, and he brought music into the scores where the music would set, the music would set that stage. And Clint Eastwood didn't say a whole lot. In fact, for 3 shows, he had no name, right? He was the man with no name.
No name.
Yeah. So, and that trilogy was a combination of it was shot in Spain, so a Spanish, Italian, West German collaboration. And who needs some love right now in the world is Italy, Spain, and West Germany. So there's my shout out for those guys too.
Sweet of them.
Yeah.
Shout out. We'll win. We will win.
So I'm impressed. I'm impressed that you knew the director's name.
It just came out of nowhere. I just Google searched good, bad, ugly, and as it was searching, like in that 0.012 splits of a second, the name just hit me, and I was trying to look for the director's name, and I couldn't see it because everything's a blur.
Yeah, if you look at that trilogy, that spaghetti western trilogy of those 3, you'll find Rotten Tomatoes has all 3 of those in the 90s. So all 3 of those are in the 90s, and that still stands today as just great. They're westerns, and my dad was a big western guy. I wasn't quite the western guy, but Fistful of Dollars, the story has these 2 groups, and the stranger comes in the middle of these 2 groups, and he starts to pick sides with the groups, all for himself. And so he pits them against one another and ends up getting their gold that they've smuggled. And while these 2 factions were fussing with one another, he keeps getting them engaged. And then at the end, he rides off with the treasure all for himself.
Yeah.
And that spaghetti western, that western opera, you'll find some similarities as we go down our discussion path. Also, it introduced that poncho, right? So Clint Eastwood had this poncho on and this cape, so he was the anti-hero, because heroes wear capes, right? He was the anti-hero, but he had it in this poncho type of thing. And again, you'll be surprised to see some of the tie-ins to a spaghetti classic western done in Italy in the 60s to today's board games. So we'll connect the dots in a little while.
Okay, so you'd like to make a board game of the good, the bad, and the ugly?
I think it'd be fantastic. And actually have it set in the West, have it in the old West, and have it exactly as the movie played out with Clint Eastwood's role. I think we disguise it a little bit in what I've done, but to actually do it straight up and call it, Fistful of Dollars, and you've got gold, and you've got this solo guy coming in, and I think it'd be a lot of fun in the exact genre.
Yeah, in the exact genre. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You haven't played a game which replicates that in any way yet?
I have actually.
Okay. All right then. Shall we move on to you talking about your game, which is currently just started on Kickstarter called OVERBATTLE?
Yes, thank you. We did an extra long campaign because of how the world is right now.
Yeah.
I wanted to be supportive and just figure out a way. Do you launch? Do you not launch? What do you do? And I think providing some normalcy and providing an opportunity for people just to do what they're used to doing, we went ahead and made the decision to launch, and then use a long window. Um, Use a really long window after everybody gets back to work, and we end up with this uh, everything behind us. We'll have a normal 30-day campaign at that point. So a couple weeks
Mhm.
out, we're right at a normal 30-day campaign, and join us. And I think you'll enjoy the game. I think you'll love what you see. The videos are fantastic. They've done a great job. The guys that I got to work with us, Quackalope, the Dice Tower, with Mark Streed. Who else do I have out there? Oh, Board Game Closet, fantastic.
And you
I
have
even had Dan
sorry,
King, Game Boy.
Dan King.
Yeah, Dan King did that as well. He's actually a neighbor. He lives here in Arizona as well. And we got a couple more. Lance is working on one, as
Yeah.
well as Cody Carlson did one. He's a wargamer guy. He did one that's out on his YouTube channel, and maybe a few more before we're said and done. So lots of great videos there too.
Yeah. So tell us about OVERBATTLE.
Overbattle is a space opera, and it does have factions that a single guy comes in and tries to disrupt. You may have heard that story just a few minutes ago. It actually is. There's a ton of corollary there. What we do is you're trying to control planets, moons, and asteroids. We're set in space, and you have these planets, and you're going to pick them. There's no setup time. It's big, it's massive, it's engaging, but you get in, you play for an evening, and you're done. It's not a game that's going to carry over for multiple days or all weekend. It's not designed to do that. We have lives and wives and things to do, and so it's no longer where you could come over on a Friday, come back on a Saturday, or have something out on your table for 6 weeks. So I designed it differently. So it is a big game, but it plays in 2 to 4 players, 2 to 4 hours, and it's a ton of fun. You're showing some of the visuals now, and it's got a good table presence. You're going to love it. You're going to dig in. The guys at Quackalope did a nice 30-minute on the campaign, and they said this is one that when you play a couple of times, you're gonna start to get it. You're gonna feel the design intent throughout, and so that's exciting.
Yeah, it is a kind of area control.
Absolutely.
And you're building up factions, so it's almost what, a 4X game.
Yeah, I call it 4X refined, because in a true 4X game, you have someone who's going to get eliminated, right? And you're doing blind exploration. We do explore. There is exploration. It's almost a 2.5X game or a 3X game, but not quite a 4X game. I'm a classic war gamer. It's a war game. It's not a war game, by the way, but I'm a classic war gamer. And if you were in certain factions in certain war games, if you get beat up early, you're sort of just sitting there for 2 hours, not doing a whole lot. You're eliminated pretty much. You may still be in the game, and I wanted to fix that, and so that doesn't happen in OVERBATTLE. You may get beat up, but there's some hope. We've got a hope mechanism where you're going to have an opportunity to get right back in, and so you're never quite out. And never quite out always gives you hope. And who in this world doesn't need some hope right now too? So it's built into the game, and so I call it 4X refined.
Okay, I just saw an image of the battle mat, and I found that I have seen the game, as we said earlier. We were working next to each other, and I do like the idea of the combat being. It was like each vessel has its moment in time to fight and do damage.
Yep, that's correct. And in combat, the board itself is a space backdrop, and that space backdrop is actually the night sky. That is the Hubble image. So when you're looking at the board and you see these little stars and pinwheel galaxies, that's the night sky that you're looking at. However, because it's an aliens in the game, I took the night sky and I turned it around upside down and I put it on the map. So it's actually their night sky. It's not our night sky.
Yeah, they're looking at us.
Yeah, and then in the combat, we also have a multi-dimensional system where and if you're at the campaign page, you can sort of see it a little bit. You can certainly see it in the videos where the combat can occur at different levels in 3 dimensions. And so that's a new twist that hasn't been seen in board gaming per se. And yeah, go down just a little bit and you'll see it on there. And so when we engage in combat, normally a board game's flat, right? If we're doing Trains Across America, Railroad Tycoons, it's flat. If I'm playing Jamie's game and I'm collecting my resources, wheat and everything, there it is, 3-dimensional. It's flat. So board games are flat. I thought, well, you know what? In a traditional combat scenario, a fighter wouldn't engage a man flat. You're not going to fly across the parking lot in a jet fighter going after somebody, right? Yeah. You're going to come in from up high. And if you come in from up high, that guy's not going to sit there and get shot at. He's probably going to dig in, go find a safe place to go. So right there's imagery of it as well. So what we've done is we've allowed some units to come up high. We've allowed some other units to go down low. And so we have this really interesting dynamic of up and down for battles that are on the ground. And then we translate that to space. In space, there is no up and down.
No,
there's no up and down. But there's forward and back. And so
black and white.
Yeah, black and white, exactly. If 2 factions engage each other in space and somebody falls back to protect themselves, we still use that multi-dimensional play surface to replicate them falling back into a protective position, and others going up to focus on the people up front. So the combat system, we call it Cassie. Cassie allows for up and down on a ground combat, and since we have ground combat and space combat, forward and back in space combat. It's a hoot. A lot of fun.
Okay. What other special features make this game stand out from everything else?
Yeah, there's no setup time. We got a big game, and there's no setup time. When you sit down to play, that first decision matters. And so you're going to pick a planet, and that planet may be different than another planet that you get to choose from. There's some tactical decisions that you're going to make. And so with every game you play, there's some sort of setup time. Here, pull up your pants, get ready, we're on. So you're playing in 60 seconds, and that first decision matters. We have these phases where we're going to go through this full Euro setup. We're going to build up our map, and it'll never look the same again. We'll place out our units. We'll never have the same units again. So every game is going to be unique, and you'll go through this first phase of the game, building out our worlds and where's our stuff going to be. You'll feel it in your stomach, Barry. You've seen it. You'll know. Yeah, you'll know you're in trouble over here, and I'm safe over there. And we've not rolled any dice. So before we've gotten into any dice rolling, you're going to have this visceral reaction of, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this differently next time, and I'm going to get my head handed to me over here, and it's fun. Then we got this dicey middle, and then we sort of end the game with a friend turned foe, a betrayal. This lone Western guy sort of comes into town, and he's everybody's friend, but he's not. He has his own agenda. So he flips on everybody in the game. We know it's coming, so there's this uneasy tension through the whole game. Like, you're my friend, but I know you're not my friend. I know you're not my friend. Get off my planet. No, I'm here to help you. I'm really here to help you. And you're not really there to help me. And so it has this gigantic dynamic of Euro start, Ameritrash dicey middle, and semi-cooperative, can we work together at a time of war ending, which makes it pretty unique.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that as well. I've seen games play out where players are just like, okay, right, this player's winning, we need to team up against them, and it's like, okay, and then it's like there's such tension around the table. It's like you can see people's brains kind of like
Absolutely.
kind of almost exploding, and they're like, do I trust this person? Should we really do this? Are we still going to win? And they're calculating and looking at the amount of units here and there and everywhere, and they're going, okay, well, on my turn I need to produce this and then move to there, and then we're ready.
That's right. And I've taken the backstory and the story arc that I've got written. We're working on a novel, so I've got 200 plus pages of a 300 plus page novel to tell who these people are. Who are these races? Why were they working together? What caused them to go to war? And then sort of in the novel, right where the game picks up. Yeah. And so you get to sort of play out the ending of that story, and it's exciting. I love it, but I designed it. But everyone that sees it, bar none, when they play, they're like, there is something special here, and that's exciting to me.
Yeah, another little thing that I found special was the fact that they got QR codes on the card, so you can scan it on your phone for some extra information.
Yeah, the player guides, your strategy guides are right there. So I got 16 units. We got these little mechs, right? So you have a little mech, and we got all the game pieces, and you showed. So you got units. I got some units sitting out here. So you got these units, but there's only 16. 16 yours, 16 of mine in numbers. So there's 1,000 pieces total. But 16 units, I have 16 reference cards. And on those reference cards, it tells you how that unit works, what dice it uses, how far it can move, how much does it cost. My 16 are the same as yours. And so once I know what mine are, I understand what yours are. However, if you flip the card over and you just look at it with your camera, no apps, nothing to install, it's going to bring up automatically your player guide. It's going to give you your strategies and your reference that wouldn't necessarily fit on a card. And we're really, really excited about that too. So when you bring out a battleship area, I don't want you to know I'm scared about that. I'm going to sneak a peek at my own card. I'm going to look at it with my phone and try to see what strategies you might have been coming up with. Conversely, I may not want you to know I'm thinking about bringing out my own bomber, but I'm going to look at the strategy guide, just take a peek and say, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. So we, instead of having to pass the manual around the table, I sort of built these cards, smart cards is what I call them, with these strategy guides built in. So there's a code right on the back. You hit it with your camera. It just works. It's pretty smooth. It's very slick.
Yeah. Yeah. And if I remember, it had like a 3D rendering of the ship.
It does. Yeah. So if you bring up one, like if you looked at one and you're holding the piece and you're ready to put the piece out on your phone, there's the unit. And if you move it around with your finger, it moves around. I mean, it's live. It's VR, right? So it's like, oh, that's the unit. Okay, I can see it, and I can see the bottom, and oh wow, there's the windows. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I got a comment saying from Vincent who says it's almost like the same caliber as Twilight Imperium.
Vincent, thank you. TI is certainly on our family tree. With TI, however, it's a long game. TI is TI3 is 2 days, and TI4 is 8 to 12 hours. Right? We're going to play in 3 or 4 hours. You could play twice in the time you get 2/3 of the way done with one TI. And when we're moving 1,000 pieces over 6 feet, it's got to be very smooth. And since we've got this friend turned foe that's sort of growing amongst us, everyone is engaged on everyone's turn. So unlike some games where, and TI has a little bit of this, where you can disconnect when it's not your turn, you're sort of waiting on someone to do whatever they have to do. And that's what makes that game so long. You're always connected. You're right in the middle of it. And so that's great. Great point, Vincent. Very similar, similar yet different. I think if you like any of that kind of genre, you're going to fall in love with OVERBATTLE.
And is there anything else you'd like to wrap up with about OVERBATTLE?
On the game, we're on Kickstarter right now.
That's important.
Yeah, right now, and I would appreciate everyone's support. We've been all over the world. We've been at Essen in Germany. We've been at Gen Con. I've been in Boston, PAX East, San Antonio, PAX South, Philly, PAX Unplugged. We've been at SaltCon, RenCon, FlatCon. We've been at conventions all over the world showing off the game. It's ready, unlike a regular Kickstarter, which may be a concept or something. As a new guy, we've certainly taken the CMON approach to the game's done. It's ready to go. Come in, jump in, and help support a new publisher. You're going to love the game. It's fantastic. And I used a long campaign because of what's going on in the world to give folks time to decide that, hey, I want to get in here. It's $149. So it's not like $10, right? You don't necessarily find $149 in your couch cushions. So I wanted to give folks time to be able to comfortably come in and support us. And then even with the dollar pledge, we're going to keep the campaign manager open an extended period of time and allow you still to be able to get in and get the game. So it's a Kickstarter exclusive. We're not in retail. At least the first edition, the box will be labeled first edition. The only way you're ever going to get the first edition is in the Kickstarter. So I appreciate your support. Thanks for that pitch.
Yeah, no, that's a good way as well. If people are like in economic problems at this time, which they probably are, then yeah, it's good to extend it a bit longer. Vincent also asks, when will it be out? We have an estimation, which is the 19th of May 2020.
Yep. So we're going to.
Oh no, that's the end of the Kickstarter. Sorry.
End of the Kickstarter. I put it February because you want to be realistic in the world. We don't know what happens in the fall. We don't know what happens going forward. I put February. It's done. If I can get it back from China, then I want to ship it before Halloween, which is way early. However, I don't want to ship during the Christmas delivery time where packages just get thrown on your front door. The UPS guy and the FedEx guy and the DHL guy are tired for delivering all day, every day for a month straight. And so if we slip by a day and can't deliver 4 months early in October, then I'll hold it, I'll sequester it until holidays are over. And then, so I've promised February, because the development's done and the game's ready. We're ready to press the button and have them start making plastic pieces. October's possible. I promise in February. So
it just needs that financial backing.
That's right.
For those plastic pieces to come flying out the machine and onto your table.
Yep, that's right. So with 1,000 of them, there's a lot of plastic pieces.
Yeah, so there you have it. I'll put a link in the video afterwards for all of you who want to jump to the Kickstarter, and I'll also scrounge a link off of Rob if he's got a website.
OVERBATTLE.com.
There you go.
OVERBATTLE.com. Simple.
So thank you, Rob. That's a really, I mean, I knew the game was ready and I'd seen it been played, and I was like, it's one of those games which is very daunting for me because it's like lots of pieces, and it's like I lose concentration very quickly, especially with TI3. I was just like, oh yeah, what's going on? And as you said, there's that tuning out moment. Yeah, where it's like someone's deciding what they're going to do, and all of a sudden you're looking up at the sky, and then you look back at the table, and the table's moved, and you're like, well, what happened? Yep. You've been watching. I was watching. Yep.
As a designer, we have an opportunity to change those things. We have an opportunity to not have 30 minutes of setup time before we even start to play a game. 20 minutes, 15 minutes. We have an opportunity to keep everybody engaged in how we design the gameplay. And so OVERBATTLE is a game built by a gamer, not built by a whiteboard in a corporate office somewhere. So it answers those needs. I think you stay engaged, you love it, and everybody that plays comes away with, that's something different. And it's pretty wild.
Okay, so moving on, because you're a gamer, the next person you're going to jump into in this is someone from the board gaming spheres. But instead of telling us who it is, you're going to draw an image of the game that this person would be recognized by?
I'm gonna try. So, not an artist. We talked about that earlier, but I will give it my best. What I've done here is, if you know me, you know my genres. This might be easy, but
Okay.
I will start. I'll do two sides. I'll do one side, and I'll show you one side, and then we'll do the other side. Is that fair?
No problems. Yes.
All right. So.
And we will banter while you're doodling.
All right. While we're doodling, and we're doodling.
Sorry, I'm reading the comments. It looks awesome.
Thank you.
I haven't seen sub search for 70s. Ooh, whatever that means.
All right. So here's.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, I'm sorry, Barry. Here's the first part. Okay. So there's. Can you tell what that is at all?
It looks like a map.
Yeah, it is. Not a very good one, but it is a map. I'll finish out the other side, or try to at least.
I need help. Anyone in the comments?
All right, my Africa is a little wonky.
There you go. There's a clue. Africa. Thank you.
Oh yeah. So there's my so we have over here.
Yeah.
Where am I at? I'm backwards on the. There we are. I'm way down here in Arizona. You are. I'm working backwards on my camera. You are.
Yeah, about there.
Nope,
yeah.
Yeah, maybe down a little. Right, France somewhere. Yeah. So
Okay.
you're there.
Yeah.
Any idea?
Okay, of a game. Oh, it could be Carcassonne. It could be New York. It could be.
Could be a lot of things.
Could be a lot of games.
Could be. This one has. Last time I heard, 20 million copies.
Okay.
1986 release date.
1986. Ah, Democracy.
You're getting very close. Multiple releases as they sort of expanded on their stories and things. And I think the latest release, just a year or so ago, is such and such versus zombies, actually. But this is more a classic start, because I had to jump in. As Sam, I have jumped into the designer of this game. Al, come on, you should.
Risk.
You're close.
Oh, it's not Risk.
Not Risk. Arizona, right, Vincent? I'm in Scottsdale. I see him in his comment.
Yeah.
Not Risk.
So it must be the other game, Axes and Allies.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Larry Harris, the designer of Axis and Allies. You know, Larry's done over 200 games. And,
Has he?
Yeah, 200 games. And Axis and Allies is a classic. It is a classic. It's not for everybody. It's World War II. It's big. It's sprawling. It has its problems, but it was built in 1986.
Yeah.
So we've gotten better as game players. But that's what I grew up on. The Axis and Allies right out of high school and college. So that's, I think, we owe a nod to Larry. The big games of the world owe a nod to Larry and Axis and Allies. And so there you go. I've jumped into Larry Harris.
Okay, and primarily because he invented Axis and Allies, or
because his design. You put 200 games into the world. That's nice. I got a surfboard behind me because I got a game in the works that has to do with being stranded on a desert island. That's one of my props. Yeah. And OVERBATTLE is big, right? We got a lot of pieces, and so and it's a war game, but it's not a war game. But we have these ties to that, and the Fortress America, the Shogun, the Axis and Allies, that whole group of those old classics. So Larry was the guy I jumped into.
Okay. And that explains the 200 games.
Yeah.
Most of them are Axis and Allies.
Yeah, look at that.
Okay. Oh. Right. Lovely. I'm
Yeah,
going to
and
move on to the next.
yeah,
Sorry?
BGG. Gotta love the world's greatest reference to board games in BGG. I don't personally do a good enough job on my BGG presence. I thoroughly enjoyed going to BGG Con and having a booth set up there, and I've Overbattles on BGG. I'd love to do a better job of spending part of my day out there. So that's on my bucket list, daily bucket list, is to do a better job on my BGG stuff.
Yeah.
But
Well,
their new facility just looks fantastic.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, off the chain. I mean, really, really good.
They're doing really well. And Scott would tell you, give him an image, a 2D image of the box cover art instead of a 3D one. They don't like them. Okay. Moving on to our very last question, because we are finding out quite a bit about you and your loves and your passions and what's kind of shaped you in a way.
Yeah.
Especially living out in Arizona. I can imagine the Sergio Leone films have really paid off on you.
Yeah, right. So the desert, we are 2 hours from the U.S.-Mexico border. Where I'm
you
at
look
here.
like you're in the Mexican fort, and
Yeah,
someone's going to
exactly.
come through and ring the bell and ding ding
Yeah.
ding.
There's some mountains back there behind me. I
Yeah.
don't think the palm tree is native, but they're nice. They're nice out here. And Barry and I were talking earlier before the show. I thought maybe I ought to do my own show for 15 minutes, just call it 15 minutes in the desert. And we could do 361 days a year because it's beautiful out here, about 361 out of 365 days. Just sit here and talk for 15 minutes.
I don't think I could stand that though. Not your video, but being the same weather every day.
You know, when it's beautiful like this, you know, and here's the secret. We don't want anybody to come to Arizona, but here's the secret. If I go 2 hours north, I'm in the snow. If I go 2 hours south, yeah, because of the elevation change. You get up into the mountains. It snowed this week. It's 70 degrees here today. 2 hours, I get in a car, have a McDonald's, and by the time I get there, I'm in the snow. 2 hours that way, and you're in the forest. 2 hours that way, you're deep in the Mexico desert. And so from here, you really get to taste a little bit of everything. And so that makes it nice. And I'm blessed. My significant other, I'm from Indiana, so I'm from the Midwest where it does get cold and it does get humid. And she's out here, and I've been out here now 5 years, 4 or 5 years, and she's fantastic. We live in paradise.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, you can't beat it.
No, I'm happy for you there.
Thank you, sir. I have to come visit you in the vineyards, though.
You will do, and then you'll see like the changing weather. You'll see what it's like when rain is like over there.
Yeah.
And then the rain is coming closer, and then the rain is on top of you, and then the rain is gone, and the sun is out, and then another rain. It's like I don't know. It's a cycle. Oh, there's snow. Oh, there's a storm. Oh, there's wind. Oh, there's sun. Hopefully, no heat waves again. Oh.
Yeah, we do get hot. We do get a little hot here in the summer. You know, it is the desert. You get a little hot, but that's what we have air conditioning for. But and shade. But it can get hot. I don't think it's that much hotter than a deep hot in Florida or a deep hot in where I'm from in Indiana. I grew up spent 47 years. I'm 52. Spent 47 years outside of this little racetrack you might have heard of, and I don't know if you heard of it over in France and UK, called the Indianapolis 500. You ever heard of that?
Is that? Oh yeah, that's where they filmed Cars, wasn't it?
So I grew up. I was born like 30 miles from the Indianapolis 500, and I spent 47 years 10 miles outside of the Indy 500 is a town called Brownsburg, Indiana. And we get snow. We get rain. It would rain half an inch of rain, 2 or 3, 4 centimeters in a day. And that's just a day. It's normal. Out here, if it rains 3 centimeters, they call it a monsoon. And they do. It's monsoon season. So when I moved out here, I thought, oh my gosh, growing up, monsoon was out in the Asian islands, right? The
Yeah.
Pacific Ocean, and it's this giant event, and we got a thunderstorm, and it rained a half an inch, and they, oh my gosh, it's a monsoon, and I'm like, at home, that's called a normal afternoon.
Yeah. I think people's expectations about things are wildly different. You know, it's like when Berkey told me that these prawns were the best in the world, and they were big, and they were probably very tasty without drowning in horseradish sauce. But
here, with no rain at all, they get a little bit of rain, and it's a newsworthy event. And so, you know, what I look forward to is getting out there to the vineyards. And you told me about this little private wine that you guys make. That I'm looking forward to trying that stuff.
No problem. You're very welcome to come along. Moving on to our last and very final question.
Yes.
You're going to now jump into whoever you wish to.
Okay.
Why and who?
You know, as an ex-guitarist, Jimi Hendrix came to mind. As a military strategist, board gamer over my life, even back to George Washington came to mind as I started to think about who do I jump into. Right now, Barry, I think I jump into a nurse or a doctor and help the world figure out what's going on. So that's what I would do today.
You would do today is be a medical professional.
Yeah. Jump in and help figure out how to fix what's going on, because it's affecting everybody everywhere. We've never had something like that. So if you were given the opportunity to jump into someone and do something great, I think right now would either jump into someone in the medical profession, in the research world, and give an extra hand to come up with some sort of vaccine or cure or whatever. So
yeah,
that's what I would do. That's what I would do today.
That's really sweet.
Thanks,
I mean, a lot
Jimi
of
Hendrix
people.
second. Jimi Hendrix second.
Jimi Hendrix, yeah.
Yeah, I don't play my strings upside down, so that would be a little tough.
I mean, yeah, for me, it would be anyone in the services who is helping out. I mean, the police have got a lot of stress, especially over here in Europe, because they're having to do these kind of curfews and they have to security check everyone. We also have the military involved here, which is something which is not happening over there for some strange reason. So yeah, being anybody. I think they're asking for volunteers as well in Italy. They're asking for just anyone to run around and drive, medicine from one hospital to another, and so lots of people are getting the chance to be heroes, and that's one of the nicest things about a crisis like this is the people that step up to the plate and help their fellow humans.
Last night, Misty, my significant other, we're not married, so it's odd at 52 to call her my girlfriend, but we've been here.
When you're 12,
when you're 12, she's sewing masks. She's sewing. She bought fabric. She does things on her sewing machine, and she's making masks for one of her clients who's a doctor's office. She's making a dozen masks with the sewing machine and just doing her thing. They got a little pocket so you can put a filter in there. They got a little nose piece. She spent the last couple days every night trying to get her design right. I'm a game designer. She's in there designing a face mask made out of fabric. Just make a dozen, get them to the doctor's office, just because that's what we do right now.
Yeah,
that's what we all have to do. Be a hero.
We all have to do. Yeah.
And not all heroes wear capes.
Precisely. And they all come in different shapes and sizes and different colors and. Yep. Yeah.
For sure. But you and I, we're in the board game industry, and so it gives us some time to escape. I think board games are going to find even more of their footing. We're in a great renaissance of board games right now, anyway. But the stay home. I'm a movie guy, right? I had a movie pass. We see 1 or 2 movies every single week. We don't see any movies now. Movies are shut down.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So spending time at home, back on the board games, I think are going to be. You can only watch so much Netflix, and so
yeah,
right. Hulu and Netflix are, you can only watch so much, and so I think that we are in an industry that can really help make a difference a little bit in terms of a mental release. Let's go to another galaxy. Let's go to another planet. Let's go back in time and do railroads. Let's go to Carcassonne. Let's go to ancient Greece.
Exactly.
Our friend Brian Pope and Foundations of Rome. Let's go to Rome. Let's just go do things.
Yeah.
And that board games allow us to do that, and that's sort of cool.
Yeah, and that's one of the blessings. It's another. Yeah, I mean, there's books, there's music.
Yep.
But there's board games, and especially if you've got a significant other or other family living with you, it's a great way to de-stress and have a good time. And remember, that you're a family and you're loved.
Yep, for sure. For sure.
Well, thank you very much, Rob, for your time.
Barry, thanks for having me, man. Thank you.
It's a pleasure just to catch up with you again. I have to do this more often.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh, excuse me. Too much drink. So, as we said earlier, Rob's Kickstarter is running. OVERBATTLE is up on Kickstarter at the moment. You can go and check that out. Again, you can go to overbattle.com if you want to find out some more details about this big epic space battle, good, bad, and ugly.
Fistful of dollars, poncho wearing. My anti-hero in the game is this high-tech guy called the Sin, and he actually has a poncho and this cape. He's got all this high-tech gear, and he has this poncho and cape on, and now you know why. You go all the way back to Clint Eastwood and the spaghetti western. There you go. There is a tie-in.
Nothing like a good Easter egg, is there?
Exactly, and I'm full of them.
Okay, so I'm going to say thank you again, Rob. Thanks, to everyone watching.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, Vincent, for the comments, too. Appreciate those.
Yeah, one thing I need to do is I need to thank our sponsor as well with this little advert.
This video was made possible with the help of Game Toppers. Upgrade your gaming experience with a Game Topper.
And once again, thank you everybody out there for watching and joining in the live chat and just watching this video. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you. Well, I'll probably see you again, hopefully soon. Ciao for now.
Bye.
Just sitting at the table next to Felicia would be quite nice. Wouldn't it be good? I got some board games.